Hey team, welcome to tonight's team call. It is March 7th. Holy crapoly, where is the time going? I don't even understand this. I am super excited. We have tons of incredible things happening. So let me share my screen real quick. That way you guys can take pictures, notes, whatever you need to do while I have this information. Oh, okay. So what to know? What is there to know in the coming month? So tomorrow night, Kelsey and Harrison, I should say, Harrison is leading in the kitchen and I'm super excited. So if you are a part of our village community, then be sure and lean in there as we try a new recipe. You can also mark your calendars for March 14th. So that is next Monday. Yep, next Monday. Team call will be pushed back a little bit. We're going to start a coach sneak peek at 7. And then from there, it'll be like 20 minutes. From there, we'll just jump straight into team call on the different link. Our March body camp class will be March 19th at 8 a.m. If you have never participated in this, this is an incredible opportunity for you to meet people where they're at. Maybe you have people who are interested, who've, watch you constantly, but never say yes. This is a great opportunity to reach out to them and say, hey, I don't know if you want this, but for $7, you can have 24-hour access to all of my solutions, right? You'll get Beachbody On Demand, you'll get the nutrition, you'll get the recipes, you'll get body, all of that for $7. How freaking cool. So this is an opportunity for you to start voicing that. Talk about why you love Beachbody On Demand. Talk about why you love body. Talk about all of these things to start inviting them to this class. The link is on my page. I will share that with you guys, though. I realize I probably have not done that yet. I will share that, though. It is a public event, so anybody can attend. It's going to be via Zoom. You just have to get them a day pass. That's it. Also, for my girls, April's boot camp, the theme is going to be nutrition. So a lot of us are going through gut protocol, but I heard you. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. Guess what? Nutrition is for everybody. So in April, we're going to prep on the 4th. Day 1 will be on the 11th. You get 3. You get pick your path. You can pick gut protocol, ultimate portion fix, or to be mindset. But for those 4 weeks, we're going all in on our nutrition to show up for ourselves. With that being said, what to know for Beachbody? Gut protocol releases March 15th. That is the day that everybody can order. Everybody. So this week, you definitely want to showcase it, talk about it, share the tools that I shared in the team page. Make sure that you're talking about why it matters to you. And then Sunday and Monday, this is when you're going to be inviting and you're going to be collecting emails. So from now until then, you want to get an interest list. It can literally just be a piece of paper, right? And just write down names of people who ask you questions about it, who seem interested, people you're plugging into the Snoop group, people that you're sending the newsletters to. Get a running list going now so that on Sunday and Monday, that's when you're having that real big invite push and you get to connect them with the programs that they need, right? Okay. So also this month, BOD members, if you are an OG BOD member, right? But you haven't taken the dive for body, now's the time to try because you get 14 days free. I did not link the FAQ for that, so I am sorry, but if you Google Beachbody FAQ, click that first link and then type in body free or whatever, it's going to pop up. So check there. Also, March, who is ready to hit the beach? I know I am, like especially on today's dreary day. The Success Club trip is March 23rd through the 27th. And listen, if you can't go before you get salty, let me tell you, this is an opportunity to go to the page and opt in for Mexico for next year. Because listen, you don't have to sit back and watch us meet the super trainers and work out with them. You can be there beside us. But you got to opt in first or you're never going to be there, right? And then also mark your calendars for April 23rd. That is super weekend and I super want you there, okay? So that is what to know for this week. It is March 7th and I'm so excited that you are here with me. Tonight we are going to be talking about time management through intentional action, okay? So this actually is a topic that was brought up to me. Kelly, how do we opt in? If you go to the website, it's Beachbody Success Club trip. I always just Google, I don't actually know what it is, but if you go there, there is a place where it says, how do you get invited? And you click that, put your email and you're good to go. If somebody has their phone or whatever handy and wants to drop it in the chat, feel free to drop that link. But tonight's team call topic has been brought up because through one-on-ones, through working with new and emerging leaders, people who are working their business, the thing that I get so much is I just don't know how to find time, or I'm so busy, or, the time management just freaking sucks. Raise your hand if you're that person who you're like, I would love to do this, but I just don't know how to make it happen. Because I get you. I feel you. I understand. Have no fear. Like, you are not the only person there. And that's why I want to bring this up, because not to toot my own horn, but toot toot, I am an intentional person. I'm really good. Although I will say, when I was making this call, I was like, oh, you needed this too, right? Because we're humans and humans go through different seasons. So my superpower is planning. My superpower is intentional action. And I want to share some of that with you today. So first off, like I said, one of the big excuses that I get is that, oh, I don't have time. I'm too busy. I can't build a business. Let's just hold on. Before I even dive into this, I will speak of a business because that's my goals in this, right? But in the beginning, it was being healthy. So maybe you're a walker, maybe you're a hyper, maybe you're a runner. It doesn't matter what level of coach you are. Listen to this for you, right? Maybe you are just a hype girl and you're here to get your own results. That's fine. Put this in perspective to your health then, right? But if you are that person who's like, I would love to pay for my supplements, or you're that person who's like, I would love to take my family on a vacation, or that person who's like, with gas prices going through the roof, I'd just love to fill my gas tank, right? If that's you, then go ahead and correlate this with your business. I'll let you decide what you want it for, but neither here nor there, it's the same thing, right? But anyways, what I get is, I'm just too busy. I had my day and I just ran out of time. I couldn't do it. Well, my kids, insert excuse here of why they took your time, right? Why they're to blame why you can't build your business, or they're to blame why you can't be healthy. Well, life just happened, right? It's shit show over here. It just happened, right? Oh, I'm exhausted. I just can't give anymore. Well, I have a full-time job. You can raise your hand. You don't have to if you don't want to, if you have used that one of these excuses in the past, because hi, I hear you, I see you, I am you. But the truth of the matter is, the only one that is in control of your future is you and your action. There's only two things in life that you can control. It's your attitude and your actions. Yeah, you may be busy. Yeah, you may be exhausted. But you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it, right? Because this is where we need to do that priority check. Think back, and I know my team, the last couple months, we've done a lot of talking about our vision, about why we're here, about what we want to accomplish, about why it matters. This is where you check those priorities, right? This business can be whatever you want it to be. It can be absolutely incredible and can create freedom for a lifetime. But yeah, it's going to take sacrifice. Yeah, it's going to take work. This is just like your health, right? You don't wake up one day, push play on 21 Day Fix, and all your problems are solved. Hell no. Like, you worked your ass off for those 21 days. You went all in. You busted booty. And then guess what? You did it again because you weren't at your goal, right? And you kept doing that on repeat. It doesn't matter. You have to check your priorities, because if you would have stopped after 21 days and said, well, I did it for 21 days, but I just was too busy. I was too exhausted. Where's it going to get you? It's not going to get you where you are right now today, where you've changed your life, right? Same thing in this business. So I really, really want you to check your priorities. What do you actually want with this business, with this team, with your health? What is that future version you dream of, right? How can coaching help you create that? If you know my story, if you've been here long enough, then you know I was a stay-at-home mom with a husband who was never here because he was working nonstop. I raised 3 children all by myself. And when I say all by myself, I mean all by myself. And my husband spent 97 days working 13-hour nights, 7 days a week, with an hour drive there and an hour drive home, which meant we got 0 time with him. My priority check was, how bad do I want my husband in our life? Because the life we were living, we had him 0. And that's not a life that I was willing to live. So I checked my priorities. What mattered more? Being too busy, being exhausted, blaming my kids for the reason I wasn't creating the future that I wanted. That's the question we're at, right? Like, what do you want? That future that you dream of, the freedom that you just can taste, right? That you just cry about. At least I cried about. I wanted it so bad. Or is it going to be the sacrifices are the bigger priority, right? Because the truth is we all have 24 hours. The question is, how are you spending your time? That's the big one, right? How are you spending your time? And this is where, listen, I love you enough to call you out and tell you. I won't be the coach who's going to tell you everything that you want to hear. I'm going to be the coach who loves you enough to tell you what you need to hear. And I need to hear this sometimes too, because we live in an instant society where this thing rules everything. Why? Because they literally create it that way. And we can hold our phone all day long and say that we're working when we're really not, right? And that's the important thing to understand here is we have 24 hours. So it's time to call it tight, like KK says, and ask yourself, how are you spending that time? And I'll show you. I do something called the 24-hour clock. And listen, I know, before you say it, this might not be your personality type. I get it. I'm a planner. I'm an emerald. I understand. Maybe you're the sapphire who loves to party and you don't love rules. That's fine, girl. Like, you do you. But at the end of the day, when your life and your dreams and your goals are on the other end of your action, are you going to do you so hard that you don't take action for what really matters to that priority that you said, right? Because that's where we're at. You got to get a little uncomfortable to grow. So today, as I was prepping for this call, this first clock to the left, right? I'll even zoom in on it real quick here. This first clock here to the left, this was my current time spent. So when I challenge my coaches to do this, I ask them, I say, I don't have a blank one. Take this 24-hour clock and I want you to fill it in on how you are currently spending your time. And Natalie or Amy, one of the two, will drop a link for this in the chat here. That way you can actually do this afterwards, because I don't teach you to just speak. I teach you so you can implement. But if you were to take a 24-hour clock right now today and you filled it in with how you are spending your time, what would it look like? Because mine does not look very intentional. I sleep, I have my morning routine, I get my kids ready, and then I have too many hours where I'm like, what do I actually do in that time, right? I know I have intentions, but lately I haven't been intentional with it. And so when you make that first clock, no shame, it is what it is. It's going to suck. Let's just be honest. You're going to be like, okay, so I spent 3 hours scrolling after work. That's how I spend my evenings after work, because you're so exhausted and you're so numbed out that all you want to do is sit and scroll or sit in Netflix or whatever it is, whatever your numbing agent is, right? For me, it's scrolling, because then I don't have to think, right? Or I can look for someone else to help instead of actually addressing my own life situations. So make one clock. That is how you're currently spending your time. And then you want to make a second clock, but this clock is going to be your intentional clock. And what this is going to look like, this is going to be what your ideal day would be. Listen, I know I love plans and I love everything perfect, but nothing goes according to plan and nothing is ever perfect. So even though we can be the most intentional humans in the world, it doesn't mean that it's going to go according to plan. So for those perfectionists who are on this call with me, know that this is just a baseline, okay? This is not a promise. This is a baseline, and this is where you ideally want to get your day to go. Okay, some days are going to be better than others. Some days you're going to totally miss the mark. That's okay. The whole goal in creating this intentional clock is so that you can be aware of the time that you have so that you can spend it properly. So if you compare these two, right, my currently how I'm spending my time versus how I would love to spend my time, you can see that I have from 7 to 3, where I do Lord knows what, maybe work, maybe rest, maybe clean. Lately, it's been spent in my camper. I literally took an entire week off. But ideally, what I would love is when the kids get on the bus, I do my power hour, or I get myself ready, then I do my power hour, and then I have lunch. And then I get to do fun, creative projects, whether that's creating content or creating tools for my coaches. And then I just get to unplug. I get 2 hours to like do nothing, or go for a walk, or read a book, or like breathe. Like if you're a mom or a woman and you are that person who's like, oh, I just crave time to myself, because for me, I haven't had that in 9 years now, right? If I crave it, well, are you making time for it, right? A lot of us, let's use workouts for an example, right? Because everyone can relate to that. We want to get a workout and we want to feel good, but sometimes our day gets too busy and we just let it go, right? When we're not intentional in scheduling it or making it a priority, it just goes out the wayside. Same thing for this business. If you're not intentional with it or you're not making it a priority, guess what? It's going out the wayside. And when you're not creating consistency, guess what happens? You're not building a business. Your supplements aren't getting paid for. You don't get to take your family on a vacation. Or for me, what it was I don't get to bring my husband home to be with my kids. So my life as a stay-at-home mom looked way messier, and it was not this, because now I can do an action hour, right? For me, then I was like sleeping zero. I was getting up at 3:30 every morning to do my morning routine. And then I was drowning in motherhood all day long. And those little green tallies or dark tallies, that's when I worked my business. I worked it in pockets. I would go to the bathroom, send my friend requests. When I was nursing my child, that's when I would connect or like scroll social media to just like love and comment and all that stuff. The others, that's when I sent my invites. That's when all of these things. I didn't have all the time in the world. My time was totally dictated by my children. The only like scheduled time that I had was when they nursed, because I'm really good at habits, obviously. So I had them on a routine, but it was a lot of sacrifice. And you just have to figure out what works for you, because what works for me is not going to work for you. And what works for the next person is not going to work for you, right? Because there's women like Amy. I was going to draw up her clock, but I don't even know where to start there because I've never done that, where she started this whole business working 12 hours a day, literally. She built her business working 12 hours a day and was able to bring herself home from her corporate job. And her schedule looked completely different than my schedule. So it's all about making it yours. And that's the important thing. So I want to challenge you to do your 24-hour clock tonight, right? After this call. It's going to take 5 minutes. Be freaking intentional with your time and knock it out, right? Because then it's going to be open your eyes and you're going to be like, oh, okay, now I see. Because the truth is, it's not that you don't have time. It's just that you're simply not prioritizing your time. And that's neither here nor there. Like, again, no shame. It just is. We're human beings living in a very chaotic world. So it's important that you are scheduling the time to rest. It's important that you are scheduling the time to unplug. It's important that you are making your priorities exactly that, a priority, right? A lot of the times when we feel that overwhelmed, it's because we're trying to do everything by ourselves. It's because we're trying to hold the whole world up on our shoulders when we literally can't, because we're one human. And those fears, the fears that we have, are stopping us. So what do? We procrastinate. And we don't attack that action hour, and we don't send those connections, and we're not willing to talk about it in our stories or make a post because we're afraid what someone's going to say, or we're afraid of what if this fails, right? We let those fears hold us back. But let's be for real. Raise your hand if you work a traditional job or a 9-to-5 job or wherever job outside of the home, right? If that's you, if your work told you, hey, you have to get this thing done today, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to get it done, right? So why can't you treat this business like that kind of business? Because you'll go work 8 hours doing a job you hate, or maybe some of you really love your jobs, working for people who treat you like crap, or maybe some of them treat you absolutely fabulous, right? Spending all of this time for other people, building their dreams, but you're not going to spend 30 minutes sending 3 connections, adding 3 people, making a post and sharing in your stories? If that's the case, your reason why behind this business isn't big enough. It doesn't matter enough. And whether it's just a matter of you don't know the opportunity that's here or you haven't dug in deep enough, that's okay. You have the tools and the resources. You have incredible leaders to help you overcome those fears or those mind blocks, those growing pains to help you take the action towards what you want. So you have to ask yourself, what matters the most to you, right? Does scrolling social media actually matter that much? Does making sure you get that Netflix show in, right? What have I been watching? Love is Blind. Is Love is Blind that important that you can't work your business? Is scrolling social media with zero intentions actually that important? Is that person's drama that you just spent 20 minutes reading that she posted about? Because I know you're reading it. Don't tell me you're not. Was it that important that you couldn't work your business? Because the only thing that's stopping you is your action. And that's why I think time management is so important, because we all have 24 hours, but it's how we manage our time that will help us overcome those daily blocks, right? And I'm not here to invalidate the fact that you're not exhausted or invalidate the fact that you don't have kids that are wild or tell you that, yeah, working at your job is hard. Like, I get that. I understand it. I am not taking that away. I'm simply reminding you that you have an incredible opportunity and all you have to do is make friends and point. That's it. You can't tell me that it's that hard, that you're not willing to work for that family vacation, to fill your gas tank, to feed your family, or for me, to bring my husband home, because it was worth every single night that I missed sleep or every single day that I thought that I was going to pull my hair out, right? It was worth not watching TV for 2 straight years. Hands down, I did not watch any TV. And I can stand here today and say that it's fucking worth it, because my husband just accepted a job that was offered to him where he got to pick how much he got paid and he got to say, I want these vacation days. He never would have had that. And instead he would be stuck in a Robinson working 13-hour nights, and we wouldn't have him home here with us. But instead he gets to help me make supper and we get to read bedtime stories. And every fucking day, I am so grateful for that. So I will open this up for you for questions, because again, I love actions and plans, but I know that's not everyone's jam. So if you have anything to say, please unmute yourself. Let's chat. We can work it out.
I just want to say, so I love action and plans and all that too. But in the season of life I am currently in, there's no plan. Like, having a plan just makes it more stressful. So I have, if you guys don't know, I think most of you do, but I have a 4-month-old and a 3-year-old. Life is insane. We just moved. I have a crazy job. I work 12-hour shifts and I'm doing 75 hard because I'm a crazy person. So for me, I have had to give myself permission, because I was very much the plan person of, okay, well, this is what you do. This is how you do it. If you don't do it that way, you suck, you're failing. Like, I shamed myself into it so bad. Even if I did the actions, I wouldn't be proud of them. And I have given myself grace. So like this weekend I got up at 4 a.m. and didn't go to bed until like 11 p.m. I didn't do a whole lot with my business, but what did I do? I added 5 Facebook friends. I talked to a few people on Instagram, like just who I randomly messaged. I made 1 post this weekend. I didn't make one Saturday, but I did one Sunday. And then I just shared random shit in my stories. And guess what? People still talk to me today. And like, I didn't make the sales this weekend, no, but that's not the point. And like today, like my business looked completely different today than it did yesterday. And I think that's my point, is just giving yourself grace that every single day doesn't have to be the same. And it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you're taking action and it makes you feel good. Because whenever I do have those crazy weekends and I get those 5 friends added, I'm like, yes, like I did something. And I literally have to say out loud, this is my job. And I know that sounds crazy. And I messaged the girls this the other day, but like, it doesn't seem like that's enough. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way, but it is enough, because that's what literally the BAT, if you guys don't have that, oh my gosh, you drop stuff. If you don't have this, like, it tells you what to do. And if you're doing that stuff, obviously that's enough. Like, Beachbody's telling you to do it. That's just like your boss saying, here's your list. And you're like, oh, well, I did this list, but I forgot to vacuum. I didn't make you coffee this morning. Like, you don't do that. So stop acting like that. And I've had to really have a mindset check with myself. So I don't know. I just wanted to share that because I am very much the perfectionist transitioning into what real life is like. And it's really hard and messy, but it's something that I think I'm growing through finally, that I'm feeling good. So I just wanted to share that.
I really love, I'm sorry if it's loud here. I'm like doing laundry in the background, literally working at a laundromat, okay, friends. And this is what I want to say about that, because whenever, I love what you said, Kelsey, and whenever Deidre asked, what was your schedule, like your 24-hour clock like whenever you were working full time? And I'm like, absolutely insane. How about that? And I will tell you what, I was 100% more intentional working a full-time job that had me away from the home than I am now, okay? It gives me more time freedom, which I'm so grateful for. Train, obviously, all the things. I am so grateful for the time freedom that this has given me, and that I can make the choice to come here and help a friend out and get out of the house. But that extra time freedom has made me less intentional, and I've had to dial that shit in, because it's so much easier to do whatever the hell you want to do and not be intentional with your work. And as I've transitioned so much in the last couple of weeks, working in this new schedule, I just messaged Deidre this morning, and I was like in panic mode because I had all this change of routine, and I also was out of town all weekend. So I felt like, holy crap, I have all these things to catch up on. I have to be enough and do enough and all the things that really my business is at its best whenever I feel my best and whenever I'm doing my best for myself. And just like what you said, Kelsey, those small actions of just making a friend and just living your life to the fullest, that's what we're here for. That's 100% what we're here for. If you look at that 24-hour clock, and you get the heebie-jeebies, because I'm less tactical than what Deidre is, but it really, really, really makes you think about it. It really makes you think about, how are you spending your time? If I know I have to come to work at 1 o'clock today, my power hour was done before I came to work at 1 o'clock today. I don't count on having pockets of time here, because I may not. I have to show up for my business, doing those intentional actions that actually matter to move my business forward. The rest of it is just cake. It's just ice cream on top of the cake of success, you know? And you know what? I will tell you this before I stop my tangent. I've had conversations with people that have come to me wanting to get started that I've had conversations with for a year. And I have not been crazy inviting right now. I have been sharing gut protocol. I have been marketing gut protocol, and I can't get people started yet, but I can share free information with them. But I have people coming to me. They're like, I think I want to get started. And I'm like, what is this life? And it just is those intentional actions that you do over time that are planting those seeds that are going to get you to where you want to go. So being intentional right now with the clock that gives you the heebie-jeebies and understanding and giving yourself grace whenever things don't go your way. Things won't ever be the same every single day. But whenever you catch up and you make up those missed hours and life gets crazy, and don't shame yourself and you give yourself grace and you just keep showing up, because that's where that valley of despair is. It's like, oh, I was so excited for this business, and now I haven't made anything happen because I haven't shown up for my 24-hour clock and my back and my team and all the things. I must just give up. start all over again. The moment you stop, you start over. So that's just my tangent. I love what you said, Kelsey, and it like vibes on the same level. It just brings me back to those days. This brings me back to those days, and really understanding like, man, I've done a lot to get here, but that doesn't have to be your goal. That's never have to be your goal. It was my goal because it works well for my family, but it doesn't have to be yours. You can build a successful business while working a full-time job, and probably better than I can not working a full-time job. Let's be real, okay?
Are there any other questions, comments, or takeaways?
I have a question. In the chat was Natalie's, did she put the clock in the chat, or what was, or is there like a sheet?
Yep, she could put a Google Drive link to it, which I will share in Flame Empire as well. That way you guys can have it and print it out. Shelby, I love that. Yes. But yeah, I'll make sure to share it so that you can print it out and that you can do these for you.
And I think that it's interesting to hear other people that, and I know my coach Amy works full-time and does a heck of a job as a coach. And so I know I can too. I work like 3 different part-time jobs and I love them all. And I guess Beachbody is one of them, but I need to be more intentional if I expect to get better results. And so that's my goal, is to look at the clock, see what's going on.
Yeah, that's really it. And it's the hardest. Like, I think just getting started sometimes is the hardest, right? Because we put so much pressure, like Kelsey, what you were saying, like, but that can't be enough. That can't be it. And it's like, but it is. Because when you do it today, you're doing today, and then tomorrow, and then we're just continually reaching out to more brand new people. We forget that us sharing compounds over time. So those people see us. So as we're building those new connections and we're telling Facebook or Instagram, like, hey, I'm making new friends. They want to see me. They want to know all about me. Those other people that you've talked to this week, because you're having new conversations every day, they're also seeing your stuff. So we don't just share things just to throw spaghetti at the wall. Like, we share it so that when we're having these conversations, those people get to see it. And these new people get to see it. And these new people get to see it. And that's why that consistency of just 3 brand new conversations every single day are going to create that traction.
And just one more thing, not even the conversations, but adding people. You following people or adding friends on Facebook, because with Gut Protocol, like Deidre was saying, like when you add them, then they start seeing your stuff right away. Like if you've ever noticed that if you add a friend, their post will be the first one in your newsfeed. So I've had a couple people message me who I didn't even know their last names because they didn't have them on Facebook. And I felt so silly because I'm like, oh my God, I've never had a conversation with you. And you're asking me about, wanting to do this. And you're like, okay, I'm ready to start. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to send you samples. I need your address. And then I'm like, oh, I need your last name too. So it works. Like, that's why. And in order to have new conversations, you have to have new people. So I think that part gets missed a lot. And that's what I was missing, because I'm like, I'm talking to the same people over and over and over. That's why. Get new people. If you can't do anything, literally go to your suggested friends, add 3 people, and call it a day. Like, that will still move your business forward. And that takes literally the time it goes to go pee, because I know you have your phone when you go to the bathroom.
Also, I'm going to chime in here about conversations, because like sometimes starting a conversation with someone you've never met before is awkward and hard. So I get to where I'm just sending hype messages like, I know the world is crazy right now, just checking in, sending you some love. You got this, girl, kind of message. Sometimes they don't respond, which is fine. It's still love out into the universe. So whatever. And then sometimes I get the, oh my God, I needed this so badly. Thank you so much for saying that, thank you for sending that because I needed it. Because that's what I need. I need that little hype girl message every once in a while. And it's like that TikTok song, like, bitch, you doing a good job. Bitch, you doing a good job. That's what I sing inside my head before I send messages. So there you go.
Any other questions, comments, or takeaways before we close out tonight's team call?